I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the reigning two-time world champion, the world number one, and this weekend starts the defence of his World Matchplay title, Peter Wright. Thanks for the time, Peter. How are you doing?
Very good, Alex. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, and we're talking only 3 days before you'll be back on the Winter Garden stage, your first game in this year's World Matchplay. What are these last few days before playing in a major event like for you? Is it the same amount of nerves and excitement as before, or are you used to the build-up now?
I'm getting used to the build-up, to be honest. It's just mainly just packing all my stuff, all my outfits, getting them ready, what I'm going to wear for each round and stuff like that, or the potential player that I might play against. So yeah, just been getting that already, and then, I'll do a few hours on the board here and there, in between eating and cups of tea.
And although long-time darts fans, they'll have seen you play at the Lakeside in the 90s, but it was the match play. That was one of the first times we saw you on TV in the PDC back in 2009. So what does this event, the World Matchplay, mean to you?
Oh, well, the match play is obviously, it's iconic, isn't it? The place that you're playing with all the stars that have performed there, and it's just to win the trophy is, another dream. But after the World Championships, the next thing on any other dart player's target is to try and win the World Matchplay, and lucky enough, I've won that. So, and been in the final before, so I know how to win it. I know what it takes, and I'm used to the heat on that stage. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, lots of good memories. And I was looking back that first time you played there, you had the blue shirt with the large snake on the front. This was a few years before your transformation into the snake bite we know now.
Yeah, that's obviously, that's, I've learned how to obviously win games now, as then, I was a bit more nervous, I think, and fresh, and maybe then I don't know how to handle the cameras and stuff on TV, and the heat, obviously, as well as. So, but, I'm used to all that now. Just get out there, throw the darts.
Well, let's fast forward. We last had you on our show just after you won your second world title start of this year. This time round, you've been able to celebrate it properly, be paraded around as a world champion. Is there anything you've been able to do, or places you've got to go to this year as world champion and you thought, yeah, this is pretty cool?
Yeah, obviously getting picked to go to New York and go in Copenhagen, that was good to go back there again. But as the reigning champion, the world champion, I should say, that was really good. So obviously, just gutty that I haven't performed like the world number one and world champion, but I'll change that in the next week.
Good to hear. Well, this year we've seen a return to that busy schedule like it was before the pandemic, and there's been talk about players managing their schedule. You are someone that we would always see playing everything, but we've seen you skip a few events this year. So how challenging has it been to juggle the playing and getting rested when you need it?
Well, it's very difficult. It's great that we've got all these tournaments. It's grateful to Barry Hearn and Eddie and Matt Paul, all the guys behind the scenes that put on all these tournaments for players to potentially win lots of money. But as an elite player playing, a league, we both do it. We have 4 tournaments and Europeans. It's it is draining here, even though like a fit player like Eddie, he's old a lot after try and pick and choose. Obviously, if I want my career to last a lot longer, as in energy-wise and performing-wise, I'll have to cut down a little bit here and there and pick my tournaments and make sure I'm fresh for obviously like the man and the World Championships.
And you mentioned that World Series in New York. I've got to mention the outfit for that one as well. Snakebite taxis. It got me thinking to what is my favourite outfit that you've worn on stage, and I still think that one for your first World Final 2014 is up there with the matching shirt and trousers. But what have been your favourites?
Oh, well, I think that taxi one was really good. I liked the one at Blackpool quite a few years ago when I'd like the popcorn and milkshakes and hot dogs and stuff like that on the side of my head and on the trousers. Yeah, I like that one. But I didn't like that it being painted on. It took 4.5 hours. So only bit I didn't like. But and then there was the other one I see when I played Phil Taylor and in the final with the pineapples. And the people in the crowd were singing, he's got a pineapple in his head. It was quite funny, yeah.
Well, as we mentioned, the travelling's been picking up again with the return of the Premier League, with the new format this year. You couldn't have asked for a better start in that first week, winning the title. But what was the reaction among the players for this new format as it got underway those first few weeks?
I think we all liked it. At first, potential playing 3 times a night. The fans get to see potentially their favourite player maybe 3 times, as well as it was good practice, very good practice for going into Europeans and just other tournaments like that, because you're playing the best players in the world, and you've just won like a mini tournament, and later on, it's obviously with all the other tournaments that you've got clashing in between and that, it does sort of tire you out, because you had to, instead of getting there, say you would be last game on, you get there at 6 o'clock and play at 9 or 9:30, everyone was getting there for just about 3 o'clock. So you're doing that every week, so that preparation, tells on the players in the end.
And you were in the top 4 for a lot of the season. You just missed out on the playoffs in the end. Joe Cullen with that masterclass on double 16 in that winner-take-all game. How gutted were you to miss out? Because I know that the Premier League, that was a title this year that you were focusing on ticking off your list.
Yeah, the better player won, definitely on the day, and he performed fantastic in the semis and the final. He was unlucky not to win it. To be honest, I would have been probably mentally drained for that semi-final, so maybe it was a good thing. But I've learnt from this year, if it's the same format, next year I'll probably cut out all the Europeans while the Premier League is on, and then just focus on that. So I'm fresh. So that'd be the plan.
Well, away from the Premier League, we did see you tick off a big milestone earlier this year, becoming world number 1 for the first time. I remember you saying a few years ago you would get to number 1 in the world. So what is it like seeing your name at the top of the rankings now?
It's really good, but I'm performing rubbish. So it's good. He's number 2 in the world. Both of us are not performing that good, but I'm sure we'll both get back on it very soon and prove why I'm number 1 and why he's number 2, and we'll be battling it out for the rest of the year, I think. So, I think we're turning the corner now. So.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Gezi there, because the start of this year, the battle between you two for that number 1 spot was great to follow, and I remember you two playing each other in one of the Euro Tour finals with that number 1 spot on the line. What was that feeling like, playing in a game like that with the number 1 ranking up for grabs?
Yeah, that was good. That's I thought we was going to do that more often this year than we have, and unfortunately we haven't. As Gezi's gone off the ball, and I've done the same. As I say, hopefully both of us will turn that corner, and we'll prove to the world while we're up there. So fingers crossed.
Well, let's get back to the match play, and I've seen a few people saying that this is the most wide open match play for you. How would you assess your form going into it? I know you didn't pick up a title in Barnsley last week, but there were some good signs, a lot of 100+ averages. Where do you feel your game's at going into it?
I think it's probably better than last year. I'm looking forward to it. I had the weekend off in European. I knocked that on the head and to prepare for it. And went to Barnsley just to see, where my game was ready for the match play, and I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few little tweaking bits to do, and I should be ready. And I think obviously the performance last year, I think I performed better. I think I learnt more 180s in my finish and being more clinical this year than it was last year. So fingers crossed I'll pick up the trophy at the end of it.
Yeah, last year it was the gold darts which took you to the title in Blackpool, that impressive 104 average for the tournament. Have you decided on your setup for Saturday yet, or are you still undecided?
Yeah, well, at the moment I've decided, but you know me, if I wake up that morning and my head tells me to use something else, I'll use something else. So it's normally pretty good judgment.
Well, of course, you've won some of darts' most prestigious titles the last 12 months, none bigger than our tip of the year for saying that you'd win the match play last year. Have you got a tip for us which could end up going into the nominations for this year's award?
I believe I'll win the match play again, so I'll retain my title.
Good man. Well, sticking with the match play, there are two players that I wanted to bring up with you. One of those is Andrew Gilding, who has had a remarkable turnaround this year after a difficult first year back with a tour card last year. You've played him at the match play before. He's also local, being from East Anglia. What have you made of his return to form these last 6 months?
I guess he's fed up playing the PlayStation, and he's played all his games, and he's decided to go out and play darts again. he's always been a quality player, but it's just he likes playing on the computer and stuff like that. So it's good to see that and Andrew's showing the world what he can do. He's hit some really good averages, and he's taken some big scouts, and obviously got to the final as well. With the Pro Tour, so very dangerous man, and obviously he's had the experience of being up on the match play before, so he won't feel strange going up there at all. So he's very dangerous.
He's definitely caught the eye. And the other one I wanted to mention was Roby John Rodriguez. He's making his debut in Blackpool, and we've seen him rev up the crowd when he's on for a 180 before he throws his last start, and it reminded me of when you used to do it during your run to the first world final when you were on an important double. It's great showmanship, which I'm sure you'd be proud of. Yeah,
he's the whole family of all the brothers, they're all quality dart players, and it's good that he's obviously he's had a lot of personal problems in his life, which has affected his darts, because he was a quality player before years ago, and now he's come back and shown, he's showing the world what he can do. Plus, he's a TV player as well. He's a showman, which that means he's not nervous. He don't care who he plays, and he's still young, so very dangerous.
And lastly, back to you. You said to us last time before your daughter's wedding there was one song which would have made you get up and leave. So we have to ask, how did the day go, and did the DJ play Don't Stop the Party?
I told them not to do it, but they did put it on.
Oh no!
And I refused to go in. Everyone else was doing it instead, doing a dance.
Brilliant. Hopefully we'll see you do those moves this weekend. Peter, it's always a pleasure, and good luck with the defence of your World Matchplay this week.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Cheers. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.